Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back. It is Thursday, and we are actually doing a show with everybody on Thursday. We haven't done that in a while, I feel like. Last week, we moved it to Friday. That show is up. It was Chris and myself. We had a really fun time, and you can watch that on the replay. But today, we are actually on the day that we're scheduled to be. Everyone's feeling good. We got some great topics to cover. As is always the case, a lot of news throughout the week. Some of the big things that we'll cover, just to give you a couple of the highlights. Vanity Fair put out a special. It's digital right now for Star Wars. It's kind of highlighting whatever that movie coming up is. So they do that every May, previous to one of the movies. Obviously, a little bit earlier for Solo. But this one's going to be for The Rise of Skywalker. Really great stuff. We'll cover that. We'll get into some movie news mostly relating to Marvel stuff, but kind of ancillary Marvel stuff. So like Sony, Fox, there's not so much with like MCU proper that we have tonight. TiVo, Lords of the Long Box, had some great news for that. Check out his show from yesterday if you want some like MCU specific stuff. So there's that. Also, we had news about Tom King. We'll cover that. Some Spawn news. A lot of Todd McFarlane stuff, actually. He has Spawn 300 news. A little bit of news in regard to the movie that is Wonderful Get It. And then also, he's in the solicitations for August of 2019 for Marvel. So we'll get into that too and tell you what I mean on that. Another thing that dropped, we want to get your thoughts on it too, is the Terminator Dark Fate trailer that debuted today, bringing back Arnold, Linda, and James Cameron. So we'll get into that. Shout out to Daniel Ibarra. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to Jackio. Thanks for being the first 3 non-wrenchers in the chat. So we got the full panel here. Let's kick it back to our old format. Wait. Oh yeah,
Daniel's birthday. Happy birthday, Daniel.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Wait.
I didn't know that. Happy birthday. Let me get him some emojis up.
Happy birthday.
There you go.
Yay.
Yeah. There you go. Cool. You got some emojis.
There you go. Sweet. Okay, so let's jump into our kind of normal format, kind of get back to how we do things so great here on this award-nominated show. I want to find out. I haven't seen I feel like, Edwin, you haven't been around for a while, so I'm going to start with you. I want to find out what's been going on in Strictly world.
Just a lot of cons. My con season is pretty much done for the year already. I've done 3 cons in 2 or 3 weeks. And I showed you guys the order to CBCS. I submitted 51 books for myself and others, which is by far the biggest submission I've ever done. They're gonna like WTF, what is this dude doing? So yeah, it's and all of them are signature series except for one, so that's gonna be pretty exciting. I'm excited to see what all those grades come back as, but that's pretty much what I've been doing, man. It's just that and working and hustling and grinding and all that good stuff.
Word. That's the way to do it. So cool. All right, Justin, let's kick it over to you. Find out what you've been up to. Did you go to another wrestling event? Did I get that right or no?
No, I haven't been. No, there was a pay-per-view over the weekend, but I haven't been to one recently.
Oh, okay.
Just normal good fun stuff. Digging in long boxes, finding books,
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know. Stuff. I've been on the hunt. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something. Haven't found it yet.
whatever catches your interest, right?
Yeah.
Did people list like a want list on your phone or something, or do you bring it on paper when you go to the shops, or it's just like whatever?
No, whatever. Well, I mean, at this point, like, no, I really don't. Like, I'm just looking to see what they have. I know what I need for my collection. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But outside of that, I'm just looking for something sparkly and pretty.
All right. I was just curious. Yeah.
I used to, but I guess at this point I don't really have to keep a list anymore. As much.
It's all up here, right?
Exactly. There's so many books that we see reinforced all the time, like either on Instagram or in Facebook groups or something like that. So you just instantly know certain covers. You can, at this point, somebody can yell out an issue number of something, and you know whether or not that's like kind of a key or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the information's just like sitting in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only
Ain't
time
that the truth?
the only time like I'll get specific and actually take a list is when I'm looking to complete runs, and I'm going to a con.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do that. But if I'm just going into shops and stuff, normally not.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I was just curious what your process was on that. I keep a little. I have obviously we can, like you said, look on IG or look wherever. But I keep a little like in my notes on my phone.
Uh-huh.
Some of the like ones that I've been looking for a while, just so I don't forget.
Yeah.
Because I was like, for me, like I tend to get to the shop and then I'll be like, what the hell was that book? Like I'll be like parking my car and then get inside and
No,
I've already forgotten. I'm like, damn it, what was it?
That's how I use it. Is I just like I've got a ton of screenshots on my phone that are just like a single issue of something that I at some point thought was interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
yeah, that way you don't have to use like Wi-Fi, like so it's perfect for in a con.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So just try to be smart about it, I guess, that way. But yeah, I mean, there's no good way. The collection gets out of hand no matter what you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Every time I try to cut down on my amount of books, I end up with more.
I've been lucky the last like 2 weeks. It's been I don't know if it's just been slim pickings or what, but I've gotten like 6 books each week, something like that. Like it's been nice. It's been very nice.
Yeah. A little bit of a reprieve, right?
Yeah.
Daniel says he takes the list to a con, but all hell breaks loose, and he forgets about the list. Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
I can see that you're getting bumped into and stuff. It's hard to like get your list and going out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's always good to like pull yourself to the side, find yourself a spot to like figure out what you're doing. Pull out your list and then go hit the long box with whatever series that you're looking at.
Yep. Yeah, got to strategize and maximize your time.
Or the other thing is if you have what I've seen done, and I think this is a really smart, is if you've got a lanyard for the show where you've got like your badge and everything, and they're normally in that plastic thing, you can slide your list in there, and that way you can constantly just pull it up and look at it.
It's a good idea. The way it's right there, you don't have to hold it. Yeah.
Right.
That's smart. So cool. All right, let's kick it over to Chris. I know you've been spending the past few days mad.
Mad?
Yeah, anger.
Yeah.
Anger about an ending.
No, I've spent the past week, I would say, kind of annoyed at television finale. But I know Auntie took the ball. No, so as everyone knows, Game of Thrones came to an end, and just a lot of people got a lot of opinions on how it ended, what happened, and all the rest of it. I tend to think that it was very lackluster and it should have been done better. That's just me, and not to bog everything down on that, because I mean that literally, whatever you feel, however your feelings went with that, one side or the other, there's literally like I would say at least 8 billion YouTube videos that you can go ahead and listen to. We don't have to get super into it here, just because it's just I guess a fun spirited debate that you can have at any other time.
Right.
As far as for me, no cons. Well, that small con back in April, but no cons yet. But I did go to. I did end up having the very first yard sale of the season happen, which was pretty cool. I was happy that I had found out about it about a week and a half ago, and just kept on saying, "Oh, I'm going to go to this thing," and it turned out to be actually really good. I did very well there, and then I got a very, very cool tip from a friend. Oh, my sister her friend went ahead and let her know that, hey, there's another yard sale happening. I know it's just an unlikely spot. My video is uploading, so you guys can go check that out. After the show if you like, whatever. But I got some pretty good stuff, and I think, pretty well. And overall, it was just a really, really fun weekend, and picked up a lot of books. And then from the unlikely source that I went to, picked up, a huge stack of books for next to nothing, just because it's just it ends up being just one of those things where they are just selling books just to sell them. They don't really care, and it's just like, yeah, go ahead. So I was just like, and then they don't know what they have either. So it's just like one of those situations where it's just like, came across some pretty cool, and I'll say mostly modern, but just stuff that you would, if you saw it in the shop, especially following, if you've been following different apps and stuff like that, and then just and can see what's hot, or what has been speculated on, and then on top of that, also following Endgame. There was a book that I found in there. I was like, wow, seriously? Like, okay. And just it was fun. And then I also got to film some books and run it too, so not too bad. So overall, great weekend, and just had some fun with that. So hopefully that's not my only yard sale this season, just because up around Boston, I have the hottest time trying to find those. Craigslist does, kind of provide a little bit of information, but not enough to really be useful as far as what's happening in the immediate areas. One of those things where you kind of have to just scour around. But I had a lot of fun with that. So check out my video. I'll
that's cool.
It'll definitely be uploaded once the show is finished. So check that out after the show is over if you want.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Crap.
There's some stuff like that around here, but I never get to it. It's a bit of a drive, but I know I always mean to.
That's always the thing. It's just it's happening way out there. It's like, I'm not going to exactly that, because I know it's like I don't want to have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday just to make sure I get to the yard sale before everything goes crazy. But then it's just it just around here, and I know that some people have, I guess, better resources that they're able to use, and up here it's just not a thing. It's just one of those deals where you try your best, but it's just can't find them. You just gotta get lucky on Craigslist, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. So, all right, I'm gonna tie in our first topic to something you said, Game of Thrones. So, start tying Star Wars to Game of Thrones, and not Amelia Clark. So Vanity Fair, that, like I said at the beginning, they always put out a special every May for the movies. I mean, the movies used to come out in May, but now that they're coming out in December, they do it in May. Pretty typically. So as expected, we said it here on the show when we were talking about kind of the timeline of when we'd see trailers and all that. Remember when David was on from Beyond the Blast Doors?
Yep.
We're talking about that. We all said May, Vanity Fair. Boom, here we are. It's available digitally. Gives a really good look visually. One of my favorite photographers, she is phenomenal. Annie Leibovitz does a lot of really amazing photography. She's the one who did the photographs, which I'll share and we'll take a look at in a moment for all this. Gives some great look at older characters, a couple brand new characters, like a new alien race as well, using some locals that they had on set. So it's pretty cool they were there and using people that live there. One of them is Richard E. Grant. And Richard E. Grant is a really awesome actor, Australian actor, I believe, but he was on Game of Thrones. He was one of the Bravosi. I think it was earlier season, 2016, a few years back. He was on Doctor Who, some really cool stuff. And now he is with General Hawks. We'll see him in a minute. He's a really good actor. That's a good get. And he looks like a villain, so that's a good pick for them. He's been in a bunch of stuff. But there's some really cool things that not just visually we saw, but we get to kind of learn about from this. We get to see the Knights of Ren. There was Naomi Aki. They teased it at Celebration. Her character, Jana. I'll call her Jana. And we just saw a still image of her, and then we didn't know much about her. Now we have a picture of her riding this thing that kind of looks like one that, I forget what they're called. from Empire when they were in the snow. That was like Tauntaun.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it looks kind of like, it's not that, but it's her and Finn there. So that looks pretty cool. And then we get to see, we knew that Kerry Russell was going to be in this. We didn't know what she was going to be or anything. And we get a really good look at her as this kind of like, it's purple and gold. It's kind of like a Rocketeer helmet almost, but she's a bounty hunter. And there's a couple theories around her. What she looks like to me is actually this bounty hunter from the prequels. The one, her name is Zam Wessel. Do you remember her? She's the one that Django hired to kill Padme.
Oh, yeah.
She was working. Django hired her on behalf of Newt Gunray, right? Who's going to kill
The one
Padme.
that gets shot in the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shape-shifting. Yeah, the shapeshifter.
Yes.
Female bound. So Kerry Russell's character here looks a lot like her. A lot of people. So there was another scene in the teaser with a ship, and the ship is landing at this city on this planet, which is a new planet here. That looks like, and we'll show the still. It looks like kind of the background of the scenery for where Kerry Russell is, and that ship looks like the same ship from the flashback that that Rey had in The Force Awakens when she was talking about or remembering like when her parents left her, right?
Mhm.
Sold her off for drinking money and took off. So people put all that together and were like, well, how is this character somehow is it related to Rey? Or like, you know, some people are even making that jump to like, oh, could this be Rey's mom? You know, I don't know. I just think it's probably like a common ship. And to me, because it's a bounty hunter, it's probably more likely that she meaning Kerry Russell's character Zori is not going after Rey, but going after Lando, right? So for me, that makes more sense. And then we'll get to see. Well, actually, we'll just scroll through it. So I'll tell you the highlights. There was another part about Anthony Daniels. Anthony Daniels plays, of course, C-3PO. He's actually one of the only actors who's been in like all the movies, every single movie he's been in. He was talking, and he said that C-3PO does something like unexpected, like nobody's going to expect. I guess kind of out of character for him. So I want to ask you guys what you think that might be, and then I'll tell you what I think. So there's that, and then we'll see a picture of Luke. He looks alive. He looks very unforce ghosty, let's say. So that's pretty cool. And then whoever wrote this article, I forget the name of the person. We'll actually, I'll just start sharing it now. So they actually were talking about with J.J. Abrams about the actual the footage that they had for Carrie Fisher, for Princess Leia. And they were talking about like that, you know, how they're going to use the scenes. And JJ was like, you know, that it was very difficult. You know, he really wanted to make sure that he used them. What they did was they looked at the footage. They kind of wrote some scenes and some dialogue around it. So it like really made it like make sense and fluid for the actual plot. And they would do things like for the scenes around those scenes that they had to add in to like really try to like match the lighting and match like, you know, the environment. So it just looked like super seamless all the way through it. And he was talking about Billy Lord, who plays Lieutenant Connix. Billy Lord is Carrie Fisher's daughter, right? She's been in this past couple movies. So he purposely wrote her out thinking like, man, that would be tough, right? Your mom passed and everything. And then Billy Lord was like, no, actually, I want to do these. Like, put me in these scenes with my mother. So there's scenes where she's like posthumously talking to her mother. Like they're touching. Well, it looks like they're actually touching each other and stuff. So it really piqued my interest, you know, if not just for those scenes, you know, just to see that. So it sounds like they really took a lot of like care and attention with that and understand like, you know, the delicate nature of adding Carrie Fisher in, you know, that I remember they were saying they absolutely do not want to do anything whatsoever with like CGI or anything like that. You know, they already did that with like Rogue One and stuff, but that was it, you know? So let's take a look at the photos. This is obviously the front. Can you see it better like that? Okay. So that's just a good shot in the desert. They're in Jordan.
Stop the presenting.
Huh?
You stopped presenting.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, poop. It probably happened because I maximized my screen. It probably doesn't like that.
That's good. We can still see it right there.
Okay. Yeah, I had to reshare it. Let me do that. There we go. So I have another tab up, but that'll be the solicits that we're going to take a look at in a minute. All right. So that's Ray. Obviously, she's back in the desert. So this looks like the desert. When we see the teaser, when there's that tie that's bearing down on her and she does the backflip, right? That's this whole planet.
Little fighter. It's a wee little fighter.
Yeah. So that looks pretty cool. That's Jordan. And they actually went there. So they were like, and actually they would go there and then they would still set up a green screen. And then people are like, why are you doing, like, what's the point of that? And the whole idea of that is you have the green screen, but then you're still interacting with the environment, like the sand still blowing on the people and the trees. And it's making like the imperfections and stuff like that. It makes it that much more real. Right. So that's why they wanted to do that, even with the green screen. So Annie Leibovitz, it's Lev Grossman. I don't know who that is. So here's the couple covers. You can see those. So I'm on a different screen. Okay. Those are your two different covers you can get.
Is Kylo Ren like the least scary bad guy ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
You know what? For me, what's so scary, like not scary about him, is the fact that he loses his temper so easily.
Yeah. Gets on his emotions a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be easy to beat. Easy to manipulate.
You just piss him off or something. Yeah. All right. So check this out. See these guys? These are the Knights of Ren.
Bucket heads.
Where they've been hiding.
Yeah.
Do they sing songs?
I think they do.
Like a band. Heavy metal band.
We are the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren.
Like Monty Python.
Yeah, that's pretty much what always gets popped into my head. So
we are the Knights who say Ren. And they all have one leg.
Ren?
No, they look pretty cool. Right? Especially the guy on the left there with the gun arm.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's your first actual look and really confirmation that official confirmation that the Knights of Ren. Okay. So this is Kerry Russell's character. Zam.
Oh yeah.
Zam Wessel.
Cool helmet.
See that helmet? Like I said, it looks like Rocketeer to me. But it's very like bounty hunter, but like at the same time, because it's like this gold and purple, those are like regal colors. So it's like a really high end sort of bounty hunter. But also doesn't she look like or at least evoke the same imagery as the old bounty hunter there that I was telling you about?
I know who you're talking about, but yeah, kind of.
Yes.
It was Zam Wessel, right? Was the one I was talking about, the one that Django hired. Yeah. So this is Zori. This is Kerry Russell. First kind of look at her, and then this background is that same planet that they were looking at. So there you go. So there's that. We'll scroll down a little bit more. Okay, so here there's Hux, and there is Richard E. Grant looking evil. That's a cool picture.
Hux looks like he's in timeout.
Huh?
Is it Hux looks like he's in timeout?
Yeah.
Like
looks like his son.
It was like, I am disappointed with you. He's like, sorry, father.
Yeah. I put together, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I put together a Palpatine video a couple weeks back.
No, I didn't see that one.
Okay, yeah, it's up to if you want to watch it. But one of the things that I postulated is that Hux, if you look at Hux and you look at some of the old images for Palpatine, they look very similar.
Yeah.
And then the backstory with Hux is that his mother was like this common washroom cook lady, like a random lady, kind of like Shmi was just a random slave lady. So is this maybe one of the clones of Palpatine, and the whole clone theory about him coming back? So just like a out there sort of postulation.
Yep.
Scrolling down. Free advertisement for water. You're welcome.
Free water. So many
they were talking in here about it's a weird when the first movies came out, it was kind of, in their words, simpler time, definitive, black and white, good versus evil. There was a little bit more of a cool factor around Vader and stuff, in the Empire. but like they're talking about like this like re-rise of fascism, and everything's much more of like a gray area, and like evil isn't cool, considered cool like it was back then. So it's like a whole different time. So how do you do like Star Wars, keep it true to the original, but still make it like relevant to the world we live in now? And it was like an interesting kind of conversation they had. You can read about it all in there. So here we have, this is from the scene, you saw it in the trailer, when you had Poe and Rey and Chewie, 3PO, they were on this like skiff, and they were like being chased by like jump troopers, jetpack troopers, right? That's that.
Cool.
So there you go.
Nobody died.
Yeah. 3PO. Yeah. So this is the whole thing with 3PO. Anthony Daniels was talking about something being unexpected. Like, what could that be? And I'll tell you what I think. So a while back, there was actually a leaked poster, quote unquote leaked poster. And it showed a lot of things, and people said it was fake, like Mark Hamill, and misdirected, like, oh, it's probably just fan art. But it had Claude on there, which is that like slug alien thing. It had the Knights of Ren, which look just like the Knights of Ren that we saw. If you look at that, they look the same. Had a bunch of other things. It had Zori in it on the side. I was like, who is that? And then it had 3PO with Chewie's bowcaster. I don't know if you remember that. You can see the bowcaster here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chewbacca's weapon. So I think the unexpected thing, it'll be really out of character, is for 3PO to pick that up and go Rambo on some like shock troopers or something, to see 3PO shooting, completely unexpected. So that's my theory on that. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. For the first time, that he actually consciously chooses to be heroic. That's how it would be.
He's a coward.
Unexpected for him.
Yeah, he likes to run. Then we're talking about Peter Mayhew, of course, and Jonas Sotamo, who was him now, and like he had to do this whole class with Peter Mayhew and like learn the mannerisms, and like Peter Mayhew, like for every mannerism of Chewie, there was a reason behind why he moved that way, and there was like a certain art form to it, because basically it was him acting but without like using words. So it was like that old style of silent acting. Yeah, so he had to do all his emoting and interacting or whatever, anything on a noise, and then just motioning. So.
Right.
Oh, so here's this here. Obviously, that's Finn. These are the horse things, and then this is Naomi Aki. That's Jana. So we get to see her a little bit more in action, and then this is really cool because then we get to see over here. We get to see Kylo and Rey duking it out. Looks like they're gonna go to blows again, and that's all wet. So I'm thinking this might be inside of the crashed Death Star. That's my thing. Like I see water and stuff, and that's where my mind goes.
Maybe.
And there's that. But the one that I really wanted to show you, this one's cool too. Obviously, that's on the ship.
Yep.
Boom, bada boom. Lando looking very Lando with his same clothes that he wore in the 70s.
All right.
and it's Colt 45.
Yeah. So these are new alien species. There's going to be a few new planets and stuff. And what's really cool is they had the set there in Jordan, but they actually used like locals from the area on the set, hired them, so that's really cool that they would do something like that. Jordanian locals, see, play the Aki Aki.
That's a good idea.
Right. Where I'm trying to go, that's not it. Obviously, John Williams composing. There we go. This is what I want to show you. This come up. You got obviously your little droid, bunch of fire, and Luke there. Tell me he does, and he's got a glove, so you can't really tell right there. See, he's got a glove on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would a Force Ghost need to wear a glove?
No.
I don't know. Is that him? Is he back? Is he not? Interesting.
I wonder if that's a flashback to the destruction of the temple.
Yeah, this probably. I mean, it very likely could be. They had something very similar. I wonder. I'd have to go back and watch the.
With the rise of Skywalker, so
Yeah,
he'll just come back from the dead.
like a phoenix
Few
from the
days
ashes, and
later.
there's the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the big picture I wanted to show you guys. That's
Well, when, what's his name? Obi-Wan died in the first one. The A New
Obi-Wan
Hope.
died in the first one? Man, I haven't seen that.
dude, spoilers.
He goes, "I'll become more powerful." He told Vader, "I'll become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." And I'm like,
Yeah.
Force Ghost, is that it? So maybe Luke goes leaps and bounds beyond that and really does become more powerful than anybody
yeah.
could.
Thinking of it in that way, it's just like, I mean, what he's saying is that, he's going to become one with the Force, basically, and be able to show up wherever Luke needs him, pretty much. So that would, in a way, make him more powerful than Vader could have anticipated, because just like, strike me down here, not only am I going to, you're going to solidify that now Luke is going to go on the path to light to try to stop you, but on top of that, like, I now learn how to, channel myself to guide your son however I need to.
Yeah, we get to a point where you'd be so powerful that your physical form would probably be a hindrance. Like, in any sci-fi, like the more powerful you become and like the ultimate like power, you're like at that point you're just like pure energy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking when I think of like
any sci-fi is like that.
Yeah, super powerful. I think of that movie that Scarlett Johansson was in, where she was
Lucy.
taking that. Yeah, Lucy, where she just basically was just dissipated into the. She was a part of everything.
Powder. It's like powder.
Yeah,
powder just became energy.
Yeah, that exactly. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like powerful.
By lightning, powder. See that off like powder that came off, and he was like, "Oh, like, now I'm this unshakable." And no, he got struck by lightning and turned into dust. That's what happened to powder.
No, he didn't.
Boom.
You need to rewatch the movie.
No,
you watched the wrong movie apparently.
Did
He
that,
went into
did that
the
happen in
atmosphere.
Phenomenon too? The John Travolta one?
Oh yeah,
did he just die?
Yes, I know you. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see. And then like the Force Ghost thing is like, I don't know. We always see them at the end of the movies, or like Yoda shows up and like purposely burns a tree down.
Wait. I just saw something that I thought was really cool. You know how you can tell something's really old when the person that did the art doesn't go by that first name anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is Ripclaw Half by Dave Finch. Not
Dave.
David, just
Okay.
Dave.
Wow.
Dave. Wow.
That's old school right there.
Yep. That's awesome. Sorry, guys. Caught my eye. That was amazing.
Yeah. Wow. What was the actual book?
Ripclaw Half.
Oh, okay. Ripclaw.
From
It's
Wizard.
like 93, 94.
Good stuff.
I don't know. It's got a certificate,
Oh, okay.
so it's completely authentic.
Yeah. Love those wizard halves. Those are cool.
Yeah, it had to be like 93 or something.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. So, yeah, I really wanted to show you guys that. And what I've been doing actually with the show is like we have the longer kind of format show that we do, obviously. But I've been like kind of pulling a couple of the topics just to kind of make it its own video. And, people seem to like that. I get, some pretty good views on those. So that will actually be, that will be a separate video. I'll make sure that one is its own kind of separate video because I wanted to highlight that. And then I'll take the pictures out and give it a better look. You know what I mean? So you'll be able to watch that, see the pictures better. And that will be up tomorrow, which I actually have got to do like a good probably 5 videos throughout the weekend just to catch up on the stuff I have planned. So speaking of catching up, New Mutants. Apparently the reshoots, they still want them to happen. It's still got that next year release date. It got pushed back. There was talk for a while, like Josh Mangold, who did Logan, wanted to do this. Josh Boone, who's doing this movie, wanted to do this. They wanted to bring in other characters. Like that was one of the ideas for the reshoots. Disney wants to move ahead with that. The idea is part of the reshoots, and this is kind of, it's not official or anything. This is just kind of put this in the rumor pile. Daphne Keane is X-23, and Colossus they want to have in this movie.
CGI Colossus?
It would have to be, yeah. It would have to
that be the same X-23 from the Wolverine?
Yeah.
From Deadpool?
From Logan, Daphne Keane.
What?
Would they be the same voice actor as they did in the Deadpool movies? You know what I mean?
I'm sure they would. Yeah, I'm sure they would use the same. They want to kind of build that connectivity with that. And they have confirmed that like Deadpool, they still would come over, but it would make sense for the Deadpool characters as well to come over with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were there. People love Daphne Keane as X-23, myself included. So that's cool. But what that also means is that's going to not probably be in like the MCU proper, right? They'll be kind of in that other weird area that the R-rated harder stuff will be. So probably no Colossus when they do X-Men movie. X-23, we all love her. That just may mean we'll get like some sort of a harder movie for her, but that probably means we won't see her like in the A-Force movie anytime soon, So, but that being said, yeah, right. I think that would be a pretty good fit, those two characters to be in that movie, and it makes sense because Magic's in it. Colossus is her brother, and then X-23 is just like a younger mutant, and that's kind of always what the new mutants were, like the AAA team, kind of, like the farm team. Right. So not a whole lot on that. Just kind of wanted to touch on that and mention that to you guys. So
it's just crazy that that movie is so behind schedule. Half of the actors and actresses don't even look the same anymore. Like that's what happens when you cast young and you get delays. So it's just weird. It'll be weird to see how they're actually going to pull it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the final product is going to be so far away from the original product. It's just got to be crazy.
I can see the reason why they're going with it because it's almost nearly finished in comparison to like Gambit. I don't even think they started shooting Gambit.
No, that's done. That's done. That's off the slate. Yeah.
Yeah, at least this one got filmed. Yeah, Gambit never even got started. So.
I'm okay with that, and I hope that means that now Gambit can be more likely to be in the ensemble film.
Right.
In like 2024, it'll be, but still
something.
Yeah. So
the end of Phase 4, maybe.
Yeah. When they got to build up to it. We talked about it. My thing is Eternals. They'll probably introduce the mutants and then kind of slowly seed the story throughout until they can do the proper introduction. But that first sort of seed planning, I think, will be Eternals, which makes sense if you know the backstory for them and all of that. So all right, let's move over to this, which is pretty cool, I think. Sony obviously has Sony. They're doing really well with it. We're talking about it just before with Benioff and Weiss, and I was using Chris Lord and Phil Lord and Chris Miller as an example. So they were supposed to do the Han Solo movie, right? They didn't. They got kicked out of there. The other guy came on, but they went over to Sony and did Into the Spider-Verse. They loved it so much. So did the Academy. They won an award. Now they have a 5-year massive deal with them, which is awesome. They want to do more spin-offs, all this type of stuff. So that's cool. They're like basically do whatever you want with the Spider-Verse, Spider-Gwen, everything, Spider 2099, whoever it is. So great. But what Sony also wants to do that kind of like is whetting their appetite. Maybe they're positioning themselves because they know that their deal with Marvel might be drawing to a close. They're still doing all of their what they're calling Sony's Marvel Cinematic Universe. So like Morbius will be there, Venom 2, Venom, whatever the Phil and Chris crew want to do. What we're just talking about. Yeah. So one of the things, and it's kind of a segment of Sony, but PlayStation. What they announced is PlayStation Productions is making it's PlayStation Productions Film and TV Studio. So they're going to be doing their own movies exclusively through their own production house, which is obviously part of Sony. That's why I mentioned all that. What they want to do, they said that they don't want to kind of license out their properties. They want to do them in-house, which I think is pretty cool. And it will be exclusively this studio for video game adaptations. They don't want to do like shot-for-shot remakes, which is kind of what that last Tomb Raider was. But kind of like the game or whatever, that world, the characters, somebody who understands it, and just kind of like do maybe a unique story for it. So it's kind of good timing because like Detective Pikachu came out, that did pretty well. We got something else coming up. What is it? That people are looking forward to, kind of based on the game. Something else. Anyways, but that being said,
not Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic movie. It was so bad I can't even say it.
That thing. For every, you get Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat. For every one of those, you have a Street Fighter, you have a Doom, you have an Assassin's Creed, you have I don't know, Blood Rain, if you ever saw that. So this is a tough space to be in. But I think that they're kind of learning from it. I really did like the last Tomb Raider. I just gave a couple examples of ones I do like. I know that they're working on Uncharted. The guy who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, his name is Dan Trachtenberg, he's directing it. And then you got Spider-Man as Nathan Drake. So there's that. I know I just read about it this week.
Tom
actually.
Holland is Nathan Drake?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What was that
Drake
movie?
Jr.
Yeah. Twisted Metal. That's going to be a TV show. Yep. And, the director from Cog Skull Island, his name is Jordan Voight Roberts. He is directing Metal Gear Solid, and he actually wants Oscar Isaac to be Snake. So there's a few things in the works. For PlayStation, they have a catalog of like true property for like over 100 games and like a couple decades really of like, making these games. So there's a lot there to do.
Yeah.
What they're going to do is just kind of use all those. So, I'd like to see Last of Us, maybe God of War. There's a couple things like hell, they could even do what's the one? Oh, they mentioned it in Endgame when they were talking about, he said, who did Thor? Was it Thor? Thor was talking to Rocket and he called him Ratchet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Ratchet and Clank, they can do things like that. So that's pretty cool, right? They also, there is in the works, and it's not truly like a PlayStation property. It's actually owned by Avalanche and Square Enix, but Constantine Films, who are the ones who did what was it, Hitman Agent 47, was it? Is that right? Yeah. So they did that. They teamed up with Constantine, who were the ones who did all of the Resident Evil movies, and they're actually doing Just Cause as a movie, which will be in 2020 next year. I don't know who's going to be Rico, but that's out. And they're teaming up with Prime Universe Films, the guy and the guy who did John Wick. His name was Derek Kolstad.
John Wick.
That sounds pretty cool. But obviously that's a game that is out on like PlayStation. You can play Just Cause on PS4. NES as a Metal Gear Solid movie would be interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Metal Gear Solid has a slight, I guess, basically Snake from Escape from New York and Escape from LA. Supposedly,
Yeah.
I mean, as far as if you play the games,
Snake Plissken.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be that same character. If you play Metal Gear Solid 2, he refers to himself as Pliskin when he's talking to, I think it was Raiden, and he's like, "My name is Pliskin," and this and that. So, and he had the eye patch and everything. So,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
but, I mean, it would be cool to see how he goes from being in Metal Gear to that as well, because I think that's definitely pretty cool. That I mean, unrelated character, I guess, in terms of I mean, Konami just wanted to have a character, call him Snake, and if it happens to be that one though, because I mean, it's like Snake Plissken is like a one-man army type character, and so is Snake in the game. So I think that'd be a fun game, but they can't make him run like he does in the games.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I have a quote here from this guy. His name's Sean Layden. He's a big like C-suite type guy over at PlayStation. And this is what he said about when they announced this news, which came out this week, so hot off the press. He said, "We want to create an opportunity for fans of our games to have more touch points with our franchises. When fans beat a 40 to 50-hour game and have to wait 3 to 4 years for a sequel, we want to give them a place they can go and still have more of that experience and see the characters they love evolve in different ways," kind of like in between that gap. And then this other guy said, this is what I said, instead of licensing out our IP to studios, we felt the better approach was for us to develop and produce for ourselves. So
that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's also going to help with retention. People are going to stay invested in those characters. They're going to keep playing those games that are still out, keep buying the downloadable content, things like that. So it's all means to an end. But as a part of that, buy the
Blu-ray and there's like a DLC code in there, So.
Right. But as part of that, then, that gives us, all these new TV shows or short films or whatever they're going to do with all these characters and all these different properties. So, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, realistically.
Yeah, I think it's cool. The reason I mentioned some of the other stuff was like it's kind of tough because there's only. It seems like they're not quite sure how to do a video game adaptation and make it like really good. They've done it a few times, but I'm hoping that like for these franchises that they can do it the way it should be done. And it sounds like they're aware of that. That's why they brought it in house, and that's why they're like, being careful with like who they pick to actually direct it, and script write it. So, so that was my kind of only concern with that. But outside of that, it's freaking awesome. I'm all about it.
I think if they can get a lot of confidence behind it, I think that's part of the problem. Is just that there's so many times where, I mean, the original ones that they were trying to make didn't really have the, just put it out there and see what happens, and then it's just like, then with so many flops, it's just like there was no confidence in that. But I mean, a lot of the narratives that they've put in, a lot of the narratives and the the cutscenes and stuff like that they put into some games, really do have, I mean, like they could be standalone movie type quality. So at this point, I think it's definitely something that can be done, and if they're passionate about it and serious about it, it could really, really take off and be some good stuff.
Yeah,
I really want a Legend of Zelda movie. So Nintendo,
that would be so good.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I would love that too.
But you can do it CGI, kind of like the Lego movie. Like, you don't have to do them live action.
Yeah.
Well, look at the Mortal Kombat games. Like the last 3 games that have come out. I mean, I haven't played this last one, but I know the was a Mortal Kombat 9 relaunch, and then 10. I mean, like the CGI that the cutscenes and stuff that they have that goes along with it. I mean, you can just basically watch all the cutscenes as natural. Yeah. And they're just really done well, and it's really, really good. So, I mean, I feel like, that in itself, I mean, yeah, it's expensive to do all that rendering and everything else and all that type of stuff. But when it comes down to it, it's just like, even if it's like, all right, so we save money and you don't have to put like well-known voice actors and just use video game, voice actors that have, done that type of stuff, but just put it out there like that.
Yeah.
I mean, some really, really cool stuff you can do with it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so NES is asking, will it be live action or animation? I imagine it'll be a combination of both. Like, Ratchet and Clank would probably be like that, like you said, like the Lego style, or like Detective Pikachu sort of style, And then Brian, what's up, Brian? Take the Time Collectibles here. He said Zelda would need to be at least PG-13 and a Lord of the Rings type budget to be successful. Yeah.
I say do it.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. Who should we call?
I don't know. I mean, you got to wonder like what the actual issue with a Legend of Zelda Link type movie. Why there hasn't been one? Because right now you know that movie would just make money, man.
The
It would
reason
make so much money, even if it was
Yeah.
horrible.
the reason I bring it up, I want to say it was like probably
You
around,
want a Sailor Moon show?
no,
I'd be worried it would turn into like a Warcraft type movie, not like
No,
with the violence, but just the reception to it. You know,
it would have to be done well. But I remember seeing a fan made trailer about maybe like 12 years ago that literally broke my heart. I was like, Legend of Zelda, and I was like, oh my god, this is coming out. This is gonna be incredible. And then I was just like, nope, not happening. And I was like, son of a bitch. I mean,
Yeah. I would like to. I'm not trying to look into that or ask around. I would like to know like what. There's got to be like some kind of legality. There's got to be a lawsuit somewhere or something that's holding that property up from being made.
I don't think
you know?
Nintendo's very ambitious. I mean, they
I think
haven't
they're just
been.
resting on their loyal.
Well, Sony and Xbox has been just dominating them. I mean,
oh,
I think they've been underachieving, in my opinion.
not even close, dude. You know what Nintendo is? Nintendo, all right. This is what I say all the time about it, because like, so Nintendo is like the last like standalone publisher. Like they don't need help from anybody. Their games sell enough that they don't have to actually license other games. They do it because the fact is that they're able to get other people to make games for them to ease some of the burden. But I mean, 90% of the games that come out on Nintendo consoles are their own stuff. Like they basically, after Sega went down, like they were the last ones to be. They're like one of the last self-published, that has a hardware. So it's just
imagine if they did a Splatoon movie. You ever play that?
I mean, that would be that would be
Interesting.
I could see them doing something like that. But it's just,
Contra.
Contra.
Oh yeah, Contra. Yeah. So, all right.
Konami, so you can't do Contra. At least not with Konami's permission. But Nintendo. That's the one thing that's kind of funny that like a lot of people underestimate Nintendo in that way. And the they for the systems that they make, they try to be innovative and they try to do things that other people haven't done. And as much as they could very simply do a similar system to what PlayStation and Xbox do. They could do that if they wanted to. It's just one of those things where it's just like they're always trying to kind of go and get to the next thing. That's why the Switch is pretty cool in the way of that you have a system that plays on a dock and you can play it at home, but you can also take it with you and just have that with you anywhere that you want to go. You can play with other people. Like they basically give you like just this whole new freedom that you don't normally have. And it's just, I always say that Nintendo isn't necessarily. Nintendo is trying to be innovative, but they do still well enough that they're still in the game and they're still able to do what they need to do to stick around. So, a lot of people underestimate Nintendo.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead. Just because you said something about like issues and stuff like that, with trademarks and stuff like that.
Yep.
Rights, all that. So we talked, Chris, you and I last week about Atlas SEABOARD.
Yes.
Went through the history, everything is great. So if you wanted to check that out, that is up on the channel from last week. That was one that I did make a separate video just so I could add in some more covers and stuff. So update on that. I know that they're kind of looking at Planet of Vampires, Iron Jaw, to roll those out first.
Right.
However,
Iron Jaws.
there's a trademark issue.
Oh no.
Yes. So this is what Dynamite said. Dynamite Entertainment, who owns Dynamic Forces, they're good with the licensing. So this is a quote. Any trademark rights the original Goodman's SEABOARD Publishing Group may have owned in the Atlas Comics name was abandoned decades ago. Because of that abandonment, the trademark Atlas Comics, that name, was adopted in 2002 by Jeffrey Stevens, who then registered the trademark in 2005. And Dynamite now owns all the rights in the Atlas Comics trademark, having purchased it from Mr. Stevens in 2014. We have been actively using that mark ever since. So it seems like a little hiccup in this. We were talking about the quick kind of rollout time. They wanted to have a movie out in 2021. start filming in 2020, have the movie done. One of those, like Iron Jaw, maybe. This might delay it a little bit. But I think if they just go Atlas Seaboard, they'll be fine instead of just Atlas Comics. But that came out, I think this week, in response to that, they were like, I don't know what the hell Paramount's thinking. Well, we got this name, so what are they trying to do? That doesn't mean that they can't use the properties. They can't roll out the IP. They just that trademark of the actual name is the issue. So
I was about to say, I wonder if it would be a situation where maybe Paramount just has to kind of either partner with Dynamite or just kick over a little bit, kick them over some money to just be like, listen, we just want to use this and this. I mean, but then again, I mean, if they can still roll out the characters and just not logo,
it's just that the literal, like the actual Atlas Comics name is the issue. But they can use Iron Jaw, they can use Scorpion, they can use all these different ones, just not that name. Like I said, I think if they just go Atlas Seaboard, they'll be fine.
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't think people are gonna really freak out about Atlas. See, I mean, yes, it might be a little bit more attractive to say, Atlas Comics, but Atlas Seaboard, why not? If it's gonna take you money and aggravation, just do it. Stay on schedule, put out those movies when you want.
But if it gets to a point of litigation, it might cause a little bit of a hang up in production schedules. But we'll have to see. Talking about a hang up, I don't know why this is news, because this happens all the time. People come from creative teams, from titles, they move over to other ones, they just come and go all the time. But the fact that Tom King is leaving Batman is all over the news. People are talking about it.
Because he had it planned out for 100 issues.
Mm-hmm.
It was 100, and then it bumped to 103, and then it ended up being 105, I guess, because of some like side stories that were tied in.
Events,
but it went over 100 issues. People either love it or people like it or hate it, his stuff. But he's like, I mean, let's face it, he's an award. He won Eisner's, for his writing. Mr. Miracle, Batman. He won on that for a couple different things. He did that Batman Elmer Fudd special that won. Actually, he won Best Writer for that last year.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing, though, is if a lot of people, most of the complaints you hear about this current series are people picking issues apart, single issues at a time. But if you go back and listen to the people that didn't read singles and have only read it in like trade format and stuff, they really like the stories. He's just got like a longer haul type of presentation with his format.
Yeah, exactly. People want that payoff real quick,
Now, still, you may not like what he's doing with the character or not, but it definitely flows better that way.
Yeah, in the longer form. Yeah, and I think a lot of people got frustrated with the wedding. That was a big turnoff for a lot of people. Not so much like what happened, but the bait and switch kind of tactic.
Right.
So, but apparently, I mean, this was broke by Bleeding Cool. They said that at one of the cons that came up like last weekend or a weekend ago, 2 weekends ago, that DC said you're off the book. We're pulling you. Sales have been going down. It's still like a good $80,000 not sales, but like units that go out to retailers. So it's still up there, but it's gone down. It past year or so, it's been averaging like 100,000 an issue. So it's gone down a good 10, 20,000, which, that's enough for them to take notice of. I guess he's coming off at issue 85. And people were like, oh, did they fire him or whatever? But when Rebirth came out, so back in 2016, it was him and a few others. I think Clayman was in it. They signed exclusive contracts with DC. So I believe that's still in place. He's got that contract. And he actually said, I've got other projects that are unannounced that are coming up. That's kind of all he said about it. But then some people that he's worked with, like Mitch Gerads, for example, was like, don't jump to conclusions. There's stuff coming out that's in the works. So basically stay tuned, So who knows what he's got going on. Maybe he's going to be doing another event, maybe it's, I don't know. The knee-jerk reaction is to be like WTF, that sucks. But it may end up being, in the long run, something better. I don't know. The only kind of casualty maybe to this is that the story he was telling is going to end up ending 2 years early.
Right.
So
look, let me ask you guys a question. Are you guys reading? Have you guys been reading every issue of Batman?
it's on my
Yeah.
list.
Yep.
I mean, is it consistently good?
It's started out really, really good, and then there's been a couple of ups and downs, but for the most part, it's a strong title. Like I would say, there's not something where it's just like, you know,
It's been more consistent than Detective.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to drop at one point.
Well, the reason why I ask is 3 things are coming to mind. Number 1, you got such a saturation of comic books. There's so many books out. Number 2, it's twice a month, and number 3, it's now at $3.99 instead of a $2.99. And I think all those things, because if you guys say the story is fine, I would have to take those 3 things into consideration and think that that's part of the reason why it's dropped off in sales. I mean, you're talking about Batman. And then not only that, but you could have 5 or 10 Batman titles out. That's also adding to the saturation. So who knows? I don't necessarily think it'd be Tom King's fault, I guess is what I'm saying.
Some of his stories do kind of appear to go off on a bit of a tangent, you know, into dreamscapes and this and that. So I think that also maybe turns people off. It's like people want much more of a linear story, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
but he's going the long way around to get to that same end kind of climax.
Yeah, and I feel like I think that he just kind of had a bigger plan, and so I think that some of those stories that like I kind of, you know, long haul type situations, or just those, you know, big winding loop around type things would end up getting paid off later on. But I mean, he may have to abandon some of those just to kind of finish off whatever he's going to do. You know, because he's going to be leaving the book soon enough. But overall, I mean, out of the you know, titles that came out from Rebirth that, you know, are still ongoing, I mean, that's still one of the stronger ones. Like for me, at least, you know, it's Flash and that have been the strongest too. I mean, and prior to you know, it finishing off Green Lanterns was in my, you know, from what I was reading, the top 3 titles that were out there. You know, coming off of Rebirth, but you know, I just think that overall, you know, he did a good job. I mean, and not to say that, you know, another writer can't do a good job with Batman, you know, with that title and everything. It's just got to be, you know, getting used to a different kind of storytelling, you know. That I think is, you know, just the biggest hurdle with it. But
put Grant Morrison back on it.
Yeah, I mean,
did they announce who actually? They haven't announced who's going to take over yet, though, have they?
No. So that'll be towards the end of the year. You know, that's
yeah. And maybe that's part of the like whole, you know, thing. Like, all right, Tom King's coming off, but guess who's coming on? You know, and make that a whole big, you know,
event. Give it to Bendis. He's writing everything else now.
Did you guys see the trailer for Batman: The Last Night?
Yes. Yeah.
The last Snyder Capullo Batman. Till they get paid to do another one.
Okay. Did you guys see? I'm not gonna screen share. I'm just gonna show my phone. It's the easiest way. This.
Back it up.
Yes, the Batwoman trailer. Yes.
Batwoman.
Oh,
it wasn't.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to show you is not so much the actual Batwoman, but what the hell?
The signal? You want to show us the bat signal?
Oh yeah,
the ratio of likes to dislikes.
Oh yeah.
So you got 3.2 million views.
Yep.
54,000 people liked it.
Right.
Almost 250,000 disliked
it. Nice.
Yeah.
That's not good for CW.
Well, I watched it and I had a lot of questions afterwards.
Yes.
Like it seemed like she was a different character almost than the character that was in the crossover earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember her being that cocky in the comic books. I'm familiar with her, some of her beliefs and her sexual orientation, all that stuff, which I knew. But I think that a lot of this thumbs down could be from people that are not really comic book readers.
Yeah.
That just see it as just another, you know, feminist SJW thing that they're trying to force on people, and in a way it's kind of not, because it's consistent with the comic book a little bit.
It is. However, I will say this, and I don't usually get into this type of thing, but the identity politics piece of it is a little too like in your face.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you
It's
know,
a
this
wee bit
suit's
forced.
okay, but it would be perfect if there's a woman in it, not a man. You know, like, why do you have to say that?
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
wasn't an exact quote, but like, what?
It'll be
know.
perfect when it's made for a woman.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
There was that. It's just generally, it just, you know, I mean, that wasn't the one thing that kind of did it for me, but
No, but that was
just
like the loudest like slap you in the face.
It was a cringe moment. I was like,
I
oh.
was like, ooh.
But I just think that, you know, overall, it just doesn't look like an interesting show to me. I mean, as much as, you know, everybody wants to kind of sit there and as much as everybody, you know, wants to try and give things a chance, like, it just doesn't look like it's going to be all that great.
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, but I watch The Amazing Lucas, and you know he works out, and he made some good points about the chick looks so skinny, and the way she's just throwing dudes and you know
Yeah.
fighting and stuff. He just couldn't find it very believable.
Yeah. I mean, I do like her, Ruby Rose. She's a pretty fun actress.
Yeah, but she is very small
Yeah.
in stature, whereas Kate Kane has always been presented as like, I mean, sure, she's wearing heels, but she's always looking Bruce Wayne right in the eyes, you know?
Yeah, she got that
She's-
military background, you know.
She's tall regardless.
Yeah.
Um,
She's got that
So-
hardcore you know, US Army training.
mhm. And it was, and that's the thing that I think the trailer, at least for me, the biggest aspect of what they changed about Batwoman in the comics is Batwoman in the comics took up the mantle of Batwoman because she respected what Batman was doing. And this, in the trailer, she basically spits on Batman and was like, he doesn't even exist, he doesn't matter, I'm Batman now, or you know,
Yeah.
whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
funny,
know.
she's like, you know, Batman doesn't matter. Meanwhile, you're over here like trying to you
Be
know,
Batman.
take all his stuff. You
Like
know?
you're wearing a bat on your chest. Yeah, and you're using all of his stuff. So.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm gonna check it out though. I'm gonna
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
I'm judging
yeah.
it a little bit right now, but I'm gonna really withhold my full judgment until I've actually seen it. You know, we've only
Uh-huh.
seen a little bit clip, and like you said, and it was different, but I did like her cameo in the event on the Arrowverse. So you know,
Right.
so
yeah.
we'll have to see. That's my fair balance there.
No, I'm with you on that. Like, I'm still gonna check it out, but the initial, and it was just the wording of things. I think it's the way
Yeah.
it just came across wrong or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was just poorly written at the time, and you know, let's see what happens. I mean, maybe that they'll go back and just kind of look at things. I mean, and maybe it's not quite as bad as you know it comes off initially, but it's just a situation where a lot of people are forming their opinion just off that trailer, and
Yeah.
just, I mean, the initial feedback is just that you know it's not being too well received. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. The other thing to think too is, you know, it was a really quick trailer. We don't know the full context of why those things were said. You know, she could be, you know, at the Laugh Factory, you know, trying to crack a joke, or you know, who knows?
Or she could just be really mad about something.
Yeah, you know, so you know,
Who
like
knows?
you know, once you get the full context for it, it may make a lot more sense and be much more kind of in character for Batwoman, you know. So, all right, let's jump on to the next thing here.
But wait. They
Yeah.
also made Kate Kane his cousin. Because she says,
Bruce Wayne's cousin.
yeah,
But
Yeah,
isn't that the
that's right.
case?
I didn't
In the
think
comics?
so. I did not think so.
Yeah, I think that they're related.
Were they? Maybe they are.
There was
Maybe.
a trucker, and he had the CB handle Candy Cane.
Candy Cane.
That was from a horror movie. No,
Oh,
deep
Candy,
cut there.
that was right, I think. Candy
That was
Cane.
yeah, exactly. Candy Cane.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you.
Paul Walker in that movie?
Yes. he was.
Yeah.
Was it Joyride or something like that?
Yeah. exactly.
It's on right
From
now.
like 2002 or something like
Nice. That was so good. They just happen to have a CB in the car they stole or rented or borrowed or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
You like how I got that call back in there so quick?
Good job. And now I just had to replay the whole movie for everybody. Good job.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Nice. All right. I'm trying to think of a good transition to this next thing here. Well, it's about a movie. Okay. It's about Spawn. Todd
Segue.
McFarlane. Yes. Todd McFarlane is going to be mentioned 3 different times. So once we get to the solicits, he's in there for August. But the big thing, well, 2 things. I guess we'll cover the quick thing first. So he gave an update on the movie, Spawn movie. Now he's got, everything's still the same. Nothing's really changing, but that's kind of the issue. He's actually got the financial backing now. He's got the people who want to pay out for it.
He's got all of
The thing, yeah, he's got like what he wants, the $11 million. He's got a script. He's got, Jamie Foxx. He's got all this stuff in place. The issue is, people want to put in the money, but they want to make their own like tweaks and adjustments to the script. He doesn't want to do that. He's like, no, man, this is my character. It's my script. I'm not budging. Give me the money and accept this. So that's where they're at right now. Like, he doesn't want to make any change to the script. They're like, yo, we're going to give you the money. Just make these couple little tweaks. That's what the roadblock is right now. Once they get through that,
producers too.
Yeah. Especially like this is his baby, He actually put out a picture on Twitter when he was 16 years old back in like the early 70s was when he first had a picture of Spawn that he drew. So that was like 40 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
It's been in his heart and his mind for 40 years. Of course, he's going to like protect it, So, but that's kind of where we're at currently with this Spawn reboot film. So just wanted to provide that quick update for you. The other thing is the celebration of Spawn 300. That's going to come out in August, the end of August. It's going to be 72 pages, almost $8, $7.99. And it is going to have like 5 different people on it. But I found out it's actually going to have 12 covers. 12 variant covers. There's going to be an artist edition. It's going to have like the original artwork for that Capullo and McFarlane did.
Oh, wow.
Right? Things like that. So 12 different covers for it. So I imagine, what do they do? Like the cover in the black and white and the Virgin, I've seen that for some of the Spawn stuff. So maybe that.
But everybody working on interiors is going to do a cover. So
yeah. So Jason Alexander from Seinfeld. No, just kidding.
What? I was like, what?
Yeah. Jerome Pena, who I really like. I think he's on 7 to Eternity. Is that the book?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing, like super like hyper detailed and stuff. It's really cool. And then he's got J. Scott Campbell on it, who we know is he doesn't do sequentials anymore. He loves doing covers. He loves doing a lot of covers. That's where the money is apparently. And he knows because J. Scott Campbell started off with Image. It was like Gen 13 stuff. He worked with Jim Lee. It was like the Wildstorm Jim Lee stuff that he went to. Cliffhanger was part of that. So that's where he knows him from. But he said, hey, Scott, great. You want to do a cover? That's awesome. But you also got to do interiors. Nobody who's doing a cover can only do a cover. They have to do some interior stuff. So he's like, what did you like when you're growing up, when I first showed you Spawn, or like when you were younger, what did you like about Spawn? What was cool? What do you want to draw for Spawn? And he said, give me that list of things, and I'll actually write some of the story around that to kind of like, cater to him, to encourage him to do that. So that's pretty cool, that they're tailoring him to that. So sounds pretty cool. Spawn 300. Yeah.
I was talking about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
No, I think it's cool. The lead up to it, they're making a big deal about it. They're, creating hype for the book.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it kind of got me excited about it. When they started doing the recap was, I think 2 issues ago, like 296 or something like that. I went ahead and jumped back in at that point just to kind of get the recap leading up to it.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're doing the Spider-Man homage covers too. So this one's obviously going to be the ASM 300 homage which I'll mention again in a moment. But they've been doing the like 290, 298, 299 are also the same, right?
Yeah, that's when it starts.
Spider-Man
Those
ones,
haven't come
yeah.
out yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, but I talked to my LCS and they said that the interest is definitely there because people are there's more subscribers now because it's getting closer to 300, and so I think it's going to be a good build up. And plus, you know, Todd is pretty consistent with posting like almost on a daily basis, and he's got a strong following. And you know, I think it'll be a success. I think number 250 was a pretty solid success. There were so many covers with that, and this is monumental, man. So I think it's going to be good. I haven't read since like issue 260, maybe. I'm pretty far behind, but I definitely want to go back and try to read as much as I can before 300 comes out.
How far behind is Eric Larson?
He is actually, I think he's like 262, somewhere around there, because I think that my little letter that I got put in that book was in like 260 something, 262. Yeah. And I think he was drawing it at the time.
I'm just wondering, like because I mean that's still churning out. It came out at the same time, basically.
Yeah, he did like a solid like 4 or 5 issues, man. One of them was like a silent issue. It was like no word bubbles or nothing. It was just Spawn kicking every demon's butt in hell.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I was talking about Savage Dragon.
Oh, Savage Dragon. Oh, he's like 220 something now.
Oh, okay, he's a little bit behind. Must
More
have had to take some breaks on that.
Yeah, that's crazy, Savage. I stopped, man, because it just got a little out of hand. Like,
yeah, no, that book's nuts.
Like he got the young Savage Dragon got his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, and his stepsister all pregnant.
Yeah. Yep.
And they all had kids, so his kid.
Savage Dragon. So we found out that Savage Dragon is actually set in Alabama.
Really? Oh man, yeah, it's just out there.
Hilarious. No, I think it's awesome though that it's an Image book that's going to break that record. That's going to be like the longest running indie book ever. I think that's awesome. Like I'm excited that it's Image that's going to take that crown. Yeah. I don't know who had it before, like Poison Elves or something like that. I don't even know.
Erebus.
What you said, Justin, a few minutes ago, I looked it up. That's what I was doing. I remember Rob Liefeld actually had a similar question for you that you did, and he posted it on Twitter. So I found those. So he said, this is Rob Liefeld. Of my peer group, the guys that launched Image, no one is even close to matching the artistic output of Eric Larson. Think about the fact that when Savage Dragon hits 250 this fall, that he illustrated every single issue, which, you know, McFarlane didn't do every single issue. You know, even though it's a 300, he didn't do every single issue, right?
No, he didn't do most of them.
Right, exactly. Right. It's his book, it's 300, but Eric's been on
every single one
that whole time, right? And then he says, after Eric, since 1992, Jim and I clock in at a similar output, 2,000 pages, and that it's a steep drop with Mark next and Valentino, and then finally Todd. Guys like Stroman and Keown, like Dale Keown, are way back for output. And then Will Spartasio was the last piece of that puzzle. But of those guys, like you said, Eric Larson, then Jim and Rob, and then after Rob becomes Mark Silvestri, Jim Valentino. Todd's way down the list. So apparently Eric Larson, because he's been on this book, his book, he's at the tops for that. So I knew that when you said that, I'm like, I remember reading something like that. So I had to look it up real quick.
No, that's cool to know. Like, I mean, that type of dedication to be able to pump that out in the way he does it. I mean,
yeah,
that's awesome. But yeah, that book is really way out there. So not that I pick that up anymore. But,
yeah, that's basically like softcore type stuff these days.
Weird, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I know. Mike Spider Slayer still picks it up.
Yeah,
it's like one of the few that I know.
It seems like it's a far cry from the like cops and robbers with superheroes book that it started out to be.
Yeah, right. It's totally different. Yeah. Yeah, with this issue though, I mean, you got McFarlane, you got Capullo, you got Snyder, Campbell, O'Payne. Like that's just like a crazy like murderer's row of talent right there. That's just,
But don't forget, Scott Snyder is going to help him out with the writing.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I liked a lot of the like Capullo did a lot of the really early issues.
Mm-hmm.
He took over. What did he take over? You remember, Edwin?
16, I think, is where he started.
16. Yeah,
he started, but I think he took it over regularly in like 18 or 19.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Diamond right now.
Good call.
Diamond right now, Spawn 296 it's only selling like just over like 38,000 copies a month. So it's
I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I go ahead and order one because I want one of the normal 300 covers, the homage 300 covers.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge print run, I'm sure. Yeah. And then, it was Todd who put Neil Gaiman on his book, and of course that gave us Angela, who's now with Marvel. So got him to thank for that.
She's all over the place. I don't know what you're talking about, Angela. You guys, all right. Notice that this is As Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 6. Issue 9 came out this week. Everybody, I got the wrong one.
Oops.
I wasn't even paying attention, apparently. I was just like, oh, Angela must be on the cover. I'll take this one.
See, that's the problem with all the variants. Like, if you don't look at it, different covers.
Yeah. So, gotta go back and get 9.
Yeah. Or you could do, I don't know. You had it on your pull, right? Or you just pull it off the shelf?
I just pulled them off the shelf.
Oh, yeah.
I actually went on an adventure this week and went to a different shop.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was just something fun to do.
Don't tell the doctor that.
Well, right? But it was such a light week that I was like, yeah, I'll just go here.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I mess up and I get the wrong book.
That's funny. Yeah. So changing gears a little bit, Hickman is doing something that we'll talk about. It's coming out. We'll jump into the solicit, I guess. So actually, let me just do one thing and then we'll jump into the solicit. So Terminator Dark Fate trailer came out today. Did you see it?
Yep.
No.
Pretty cool. Looked interesting, but that music just threw me off. I did not like the music they chose for it. But you got Arnold coming back. You got Linda Hamilton coming back. You got James Cameron, obviously, right? It's kind of like a narratively, I think it actually picks up after Judgment Day. So it's kind of like resetting the franchise, and it's interesting, right? And this is also the 35th anniversary for Terminator. So
and this is also part of didn't they say they already got a trilogy planned for this?
Not sure.
Probably.
I haven't heard anything having to do with Terminator in a while. So
what I heard, word on the street, right, is that the three movies after Judgment Day, the third one of that reset everything, so they didn't even happen. So now it's just like Judgment Day happened, and then this movie, and that's why they're calling it 3.
Huh.
It's Terminator 3 Dark Fate. So it resets, and so like 1 and 2 still happened, but that everything after 2 branched off, and that universe got reset to right after Judgment Day.
Ah, that they pulled an Endgame on us.
Mm-hmm.
Did that alternate timeline thing with the resets,
which is easy to do when you're messing with time travel,
right?
So.
Which, and this is the transition. Hickman said, "House of X, Powers of 10, whatever you want to call it, it's different characters, but it's no time travel, and it's not an alternate universe." So you see those amalgamated characters. You see characters from.
You know what that means? That means?
No.
Sinister.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
It's sinister. It's sinister. Right now. You heard it here, everybody. Sinister.
Yeah.
Get those 221s ready. Gonna go up in value just from a story.
I haven't heard a lot of positive about the Terminator 2. A lot of people are just kind of the Terminator trailer. I think a lot of people are Terminatored out, and you can kind of see it with each movie they've done after Judgment Day, it's just been fail after fail after fail after fail. So
No,
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, James Cameron was involved. Well, he was.
that's true. That's
He was
true.
on 3, and then it was just like, I mean, but it was one of them situations where, like, they went back, did prequels, and they changed a bunch of stuff, and they had that TV show in between it all. So it's just like,
But that's his own fault. He could have done it. He could have been a part of that. He just chose not to.
well, no, what I'm saying is just that, it's. I don't think it's so much that people are terminating it out. It's just one of those situations where it's just like, where do you go? I mean, for everybody who has watched it, it's just like, in order to kind of tidy up or keep the storyline, within some type of continuity, you have to keep going back to 2, because 2 is the last one that actually makes sense within everything that's going on. So it's just like, it just makes sense that they would have to go back and be like, all right, we cut it off at here, and now we're going this way, and all that other shit you've seen, just don't even think about it. Just, we're gonna go like this. Not so much that they were, that they all flopped or anything. It's just so much that it's just too hard to like wrap your head around and be like, so where do we go after this? After Terminator 3, this is what happened here. Like, how do we resolve everything that we've done, where we've gone back and forth and around and everything else. So
Yeah.
a whole bunch of bullets.
Didn't Genesis go back to 1?
Yeah. I
Or
like.
was that like an alternate one because it reset?
that's the thing. I don't know. At this point, I really don't know, because
Paradoxes. Oh my god.
I want to say that I think
And give yourself a headache.
Salvation, I think, really put everything onto a tangent more than anything else, just because it was an alternate version of Kyle Reese that had to go back and save John Connor, but then everything just really just got all turned over in that one, and then it was just like, if you're gonna try to go back and follow it, it's just really, really strange. So it's just like, at that point, you have this just really just convoluted way about everything. So I think that, in a way, really, like, that's the smartest thing they can do, is just say, Terminator 2 was the last movie, and now we're gonna go with this. Like, and it so happens they go with the best received one, and pretty much the best one in the series, and then go with that. I mean, if you want to be honest, they could have just stopped with Terminator 2 and had to just call it a day. But I mean, there's money to be made, so I guess
money. Yeah. All right. Looks like, according to this Twitter feed here, Justin, Marvel Studios might have a Georgia problem. It's over on the right-hand side. Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh yeah.
Right here. Didn't mean to click on that. All right, let's jump into these solicitations here, because it ties back to something I was talking about, which is the Thing.
The thing about the Thing?
Yeah. McFarlane. All right, so
Well, McFarlane had a farm.
August will be basically dominated. Oh, wait, let me present. Dominated by a few events. You're going to have your Absolute Carnage. You're going to have your Hickman titles, which we were just talking about. You're going to have your Marvel 1000, So there's a lot of stuff coming out, relating to those tie-ins, the actual, the proper titles for it in terms of like the, actual event. But there's a couple cool things. So we'll go through this here, kind of look through a couple of them, which was not that. Why am I clicked on that? Absolute Carnage, obviously, that's going to be tied into Absolute Carnage. Makes sense, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to say some of the ones that I liked. Tree. Oh my god, too many screens. There's an Age of Conan Valeria book that's coming out, which sounds really cool. Written by Meredith Finch. It sounds pretty excellent. One of the last stories that Robert E. Howard did was something called Red Nails, which really heavily featured Valeria. And this actually takes place just before that. Just to give you a little context in terms of the timeline. That sounds really cool. I like that character.
I like Meredith Finch's writing. She does a good job. So
yeah. And maybe Dave will do the art on it.
Do a cover or something at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. Ghost Spider is going to be coming up. We'll see that in a minute. So that's her official name now. They've transitioned away from Spider Gwen. Relaunching it, and it's actually her going from Earth 65 to the 616 universe. So if you're interested in that,
I saw people like mention that, but I didn't look into like how that is possible. I'm sure we'll have to read the book.
Yeah, exactly. Miles did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be August. Ghost Spider #1, new Spider-Gwen. Bunch of Fantastic Four stuff. Well, Fantastic Four is still coming out, but you got Future Foundation coming out. It's written by
nice.
Jeremy Whitley, and Will Robson will be doing the art. You get a power pack coming up. So see, I'm talking just because this is all like the event stuff here. Power pack. Agents of Atlas just came out, #2.
Yep.
And then you got that second print ratio, which I really want. The one with Luna on it, Luna Snow. Yeah, they're actually getting another mini series after that. So you're going to be seeing more of Agents of Atlas. Apparently, people like it, and so here's the big old 1000.
I bought the first 2 issues.
Yeah,
well, mainly because Silk was on the team.
Yeah,
but it's turned out to be pretty good.
It's a cool team. Bunch of first appearances in there, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get in August a 0 issue for Major X. Yay!
Is anybody reading that? I don't know anybody reading that book.
No,
not me.
I read the first one, and then the second one was terrible. So I was like, all right. So my suspicions were that they put all this big stuff in the first issue to get you to buy it, and then the second issue ended up coming crashing down. It did.
Yeah.
I was like, done with this.
Yeah. This is 1000. I think they're gonna do a 1001 also. So have that to look forward to. Immortal Hulk, that's gonna be up to issue 22 in August, but they're doing a director's cut for those. Here you go. Fantastic Four Yancey Street. Gonna get a Jack Kirby cover on there. One of the hidden gem covers. So you get that. One that sounds really cool is Spider-Man Velocity, which is a 5-part miniseries. It's set. It's the first like original story set in the Gamerverse, so like the Sony video game. Cool, like the Lotto, Adi Granoff covers. So you get that to look forward to.
Nice.
There's Yancey Street. Prodigal Son, Peter David, SUN. Notice that. So there's that. There's the Ghost Spider I was talking about. So we'll get to it in a minute. The one I wanted to. Okay, Gwenpool. There's another Gwenpool.
Gwenpool strikes back.
Yeah, actually, let me go. Let's do B. Here it is. Okay. This is what I wanted to mention. This is why Todd McFarlane is in the solicitations for Marvel for August, and I can't click onto that. Amazing Spider-Man Venom 3D #1, polybagged, written by David Michelini, penciled by Todd McFarlane. 48 pages, $8. Reprinting ASM 300, but in 3D. And it's polybagged.
$8. Yeah, because of the glasses that it comes with.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, they've done that with like Thor and stuff recently.
Yeah.
I'll probably buy just because ASM 300, but
well, then that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it's gonna be. That's gonna be, even though it's a reprint, it's the first 3D and all the rest of that.
Additional Spider-Man.
They did that with a Uncanny X-Men Jim Lee book, where it's like Captain America, Scarlet Witch, and Wolverine on the cover.
Yeah, they're like 248 or something like that.
The 3D and
yeah.
Yeah.
Uncanny X-Men 268.
268. Okay, I knew it was an 8.
It's 862.
Haven't made it there yet.
Yeah, and this one is interesting. But it's Spider-Man. It's Sensational Spider-Man Self-Improvement #1. This will be it's covered by Mark Bagley, which is cool. Which actually I'll click on it so you can see it.
That's black suit, isn't it?
There you go. Yeah, black suit. Peter David, along with, and this is interesting, along with Randy Schuler. Part of 80th anniversary. Do you guys know who Randy Schuler is?
I know Tom DeFalco, but not Randy.
Edie Falco?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So he is actually a guy. He was a fan. I'm going to show you this. Okay. You can see it. It's probably upside down and backwards. Maybe not. I'll zoom in. Okay, so Tom Schuler was a comic book reader back in the 80s, and he said, hey, I got an idea. Well, we ran a contest. They wanted to have fans send in some stuff, and they would check it out. And what they would actually do with those is farm that contest material for like cheap, free ideas. So Randy wrote in back in the 80s and had an idea for a black suit. He had a black suit with a red spider logo and like underarm webbing, kind of like Steve Ditko. Jim Shooter liked it and sent him this letter that you can see on the screen saying he wanted to buy it and you would pay him $220, which you got. The whole plan was for him to actually write some of the story. He's like, hey, so it says there, we sign the work for hire agreement and send it back. And then they would give him a shot at scripting this character that he'd sent in. Didn't pan out. A year after this happened is actually when Black Suit Spidey showed up in Secret Wars and the other books, but that was that year. Now, circling up to 2019, this Randy Schuler is finally getting his crack at writing a story.
Oh, wow.
Which is what you saw there in the solicitation.
That's pretty amazing.
So yeah, pretty cool, right? So this whole story came out back in 2007. Randy Schuler, like there was like kind of like talk about it, but then he stepped forward and was like, it was me. Here's the letter to prove it. This was actually my idea. With the whole like movie and Venom and all this stuff coming up, he wanted basically like a claim, probably at the rights for it maybe, and a little cash money, but
we got $220.
There you go. Yeah,
you were already paid, man.
Yeah. I'm sure Cebulski gave him a fat check, to write that book that you just saw in the solicitation. So I thought that was a cool story. I wanted to share that. I always try to find like a little cool story maybe each week, related to something.
I recall the story. I know that they had a contest out there to create a new costume, but it's kind of funny because I think that the Spider-Woman was out prior to that and she basically had the same costume.
Yeah. They did a contest for and it was in Foom. And that was where some of they say the prototype ideas for Wolverine came about. Was a contest that Stan Lee ran. That was in I think issue 1 or 2 for Foom magazine. So they like I said a minute ago, they would run these contests and people would send in all these like character designs and ideas and stuff. And they'd be like, hey, this is free ideas. We didn't have to pay for this. So they would just use it for, So,
I think it's good that they're doing that, though. I mean, I don't think that they would have done that back in the 90s when they were selling millions and millions of copies.
Yeah.
But now, they need all the help they can get, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's a nice way for them to say thank you, I guess.
Sure.
So that's coming out in August. So I didn't want to leave out the others. So Image is the one. Spawn 300 we talked about. That's the big one for them. And then for DC, Josh Williamson's doing a Batman Superman. Neil Adams is doing a miniseries called Batman versus Ra's al Ghul. Warren Ellis is doing a Wildcats series, #1 hits. And then Tom Taylor will be writing A Year of the Villain. That miniseries, which ties into the whole event that they're doing. And then of course all the other titles that are ongoing for all of the Marvel and DC. I didn't want to mention those, just kind of pulled out some of the highlights, some of the new #1s to check out, or something with a cool story. So yeah, so that's what I got. Any of those kind of pique your interest, or was any that you saw that I may have missed that you wanted to shout out for folks?
I mean, there was a bunch of good stuff in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a crazy month. I mean, you think about, so you have, another reprint of Amazing Spider-Man 300. You have Marvel 1000. I mean, and that you have, I mean, just all these little books that come out, and then was it the Absolute Carnage thing going as well? I mean, that's going to be, I mean,
huge events.
That itself, that's going to make it an expensive month. I'm just looking at it and thinking about like all
Yeah,
this.
and the Fantastic Four stuff. Crap.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, there's so much going on, and then that's just Marvel. That's not counting DC or Indies or anything the rest of it. So that August is going to be a tough one. That's going to be a month where you have to figure out what
Yeah.
what you want to
Get the plan ahead.
off. And yeah, just because $7.99 for that one cover for that 3D Amazing Spider-Man 300, $9.99 I think it is for Marvel 1000, and there's going to be a bunch of different covers for that and all the rest of it. So it's just like that's
Go by your own advice. Just wait for them to show up in the dollar bin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing is I'll skip or read the Carnage book like late, but the X-Men thing, that's something I'm going to pick up as it's coming out. Like I'll be reading what Hickman's throwing down with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing is I actually forgot about that. So it's just like you have that too, and it's just
Adam Hughes, Invisible Woman.
Is that for?
That's his cover for it. And for Invisible Woman #2.
Yeah.
Adam Hughes cover.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the diamond sales for Fantastic Four, and I mean, you talked about Kirby doing a cover, and I feel like that'd be the only thing that people would get Fantastic Four for is for like Kirby and some of these variants, because they're only selling like just over 57,000 copies a month, which isn't like much more than Spawn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like it's up there in the top. It's not even the top 20.
No, but
it's been solid though. It's been really solid.
I'm just curious. So I mean, is that Adam Hughes cover gonna be is that the regular cover, or is that gonna end up being the variant cover?
I'm sure that's a variant.
Yeah. Well,
Let me see.
One loves them some Adam Hughes, so can't you can't. Just hopefully the story is good too, but it's just like there's a lot coming out. I mean, I know for myself that's one of those things where you gotta have to plan ahead and be like, okay, so what am I gonna get out of this? What's going to happen with this? And on top of that too, I mean, that's also for me 2 cons that are a week apart from each other. So it's just like that's really just kind of a tough one. Like August is gonna be a very, very tough month for me.
Hey, check this out. Detective Comics 1000 last month, it didn't even break in the top 25.
Well, that's the
You
thing.
believe
Really?
Yeah,
Detective
1000.
Batman.
Weird.
But like Batman has been a very good title. Detective, it hasn't been as good as Batman, even from the get
I wonder
go.
if that's just like, are they just counting like cover A? Because man,
I don't know. It just says Detective. I mean, but it was a $9.99 cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nobody got just one. Everybody who bought it got like 2 covers at least.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Are you looking at Comicron?
No, I'm looking at Diamond's. Here, let me go to Comicron. Comicron.
Macronic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at the index, which has an order.
Wow. War of the Realms #1. 187,000. That's a lot. 187,851. Yeah, that's like a crazy number for these days. I'm gonna go to monthly sales and see if they're updated. This might be back to April.
Oh no! Tape, let go. Slowly. Got it.
Abriel. Yeah, so you got War of the Realms. Yeah, 187,000.
That's awesome. That's huge.
Batman's 5 and 6. So that's what we were talking about. Usually that's like $100,000 book. I mean, for units sold to retailers, but it's 87 and 88,000. Immortal Hulk beat it. Batman Who Laughs beat it. He's not writing that. That's 103,000. But then Symbiote Spider-Man was at 165,000.
Because
that's
of
crazy.
The thing about the covers are that for when Stacy Art Germ.
Yep. People are gonna get that, right? Yeah.
So real quick, so the detective, so yeah, it is in order on both sites. Detective Comics 1000, Comicron has about just over 45,000 units sold, and Diamond's website has them at 50, just over 51,000. So they're not too far off, but they're both ranked at number 26.
Wow. Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm looking at for April 1001, 1002. They're in the
Yeah.
60K range, so right there, not much. Like
And
they're
also have like
13th
$3.99.
and 14th. Yeah, 399 books. Yeah.
So maybe Chris is on something. Don't buy those $9.99.
Yeah. So Major X #1 for all that was number 28 for all like the controversy with it.
Yeah. Oh
Came in
yeah.
at 28. Spawn 296 is at 44. So that yeah. But yeah, you know what? For a while there, they were trending at the top being just barely touching 100K. So there's some exceptions like Spidey 800 and whatever else came out at the time. Those two books there, which were like 500,000. But 187,000 is super impressive for
War of the
like you
Realms,
said,
yeah.
Justin. Yeah, but like in this current like environment, that's like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have what, maybe 3 titles each month that can hit 100,000.
Yeah.
Right, but they normally don't. So yeah, for a mini series.
Yeah. So I'm looking at April on Comicron. Tech 1000, $9.99. What I'm looking at, and I'll share this with you. It's actually what I'm seeing is 526,000
For what?
For what?
for Tech 1000, Detective Comics 1000.
Ooh.
51,000.
So here's what I'm looking at: 526,941. This would be estimated units sold to retailers. This isn't like sell through. This isn't to say that there aren't stacked still at your shop. This is what Diamond estimated. Diamond shipped out to the shops.
That's what they estimated.
Yep.
For sales.
500,000.
That makes
So
sense.
you do that number times the $10 price, and you arrive at obviously you gotta take out fees and everything, like pay the artist, pay Diamond, pay
But that's
but
only $5 million though.
yeah, for that one book. Yeah.
Oh, that's dollars. That's the sales.
No, this is units. So this is like 526,000 issues got shipped out.
Really? What are you looking at? Well, I don't see how you.
The top row. So this here is estimated units, right? That means like that's how many issues that Diamond shipped out. That's what the units is. This is like the unit price. So it was $10 each, right? That's how I'm reading that.
So why is mine saying 45,000?
I don't know.
No idea.
Maybe there were a lot of variant covers for it, so maybe that's the discrepancy. Is the non-preview solicited copies like the store exclusives and stuff, right? So interesting. So, all right, guys, we're running up close to the time here, so just want to find out what you guys are up to over the weekend. You got coming up on your channels, or what's going on with you guys?
Well, I am going to be putting up my video. Actually, I should say my my video has finished uploading. So after the show, if you want to check out
good.
the sale haul, go ahead and check that out. I'm going to be trying to. I guess I've done pretty well with trying to catch up. I have a couple of other things that I'm wanting to do, but I will have another video coming up a little bit later on. Just a few other books that I picked up over time, and I just want to go ahead and show off. But yeah, check out my yard sale haul if you have the time now, or if not, check it out tomorrow. But see what I got. Cool stuff in that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. Awesome. Justin, you doing a SMC?
It depends, just because it's a holiday weekend. Like, I keep getting like screwed over by it being a holiday on a Sunday
Yeah.
or something. And
Vacation, man. You know, you relax. So why not relax and wake up early a little bit? You know, on that Sunday morning.
yeah,
Just-
well, it's because like I have to go do things, so I can't be here to do it. That's the reason. Holidays are messing me up. So it just kind of depends if that's going to happen. I would like to, but no guarantee this weekend.
Yeah.
But normal stuff, there's like all kinds of sales. Everybody go out this weekend. Look, I know if you got a half price books near you or anything like that, they're doing 20% off. So, everybody's going to be having sales or some type of discount or something this weekend. So it's a good weekend to go hunt. If you're not going out of town, you're not going on vacation or something like that, go dig in some long box.
Sweet. Yeah, sounds good. What was I going to say? Oh, the fans are demanding it. It's got to come out. You got to do it. Another beard video.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So there's more characters, man. There's more you can do with that.
There are plenty more. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a fun one. So, yeah, I got to do that.
Yeah, cool. All right, how about you, Edwin? I know you've been super busy with other stuff, but you got anything you're going to post up soon?
Real quick, you're right. It was 572,000. The sales we're looking at was in April, where they added 45,000.
Oh, okay.
The book came out in March, so the 45,000 added to what was already sold, totaling out to 572,000. So
okay,
gotcha.
Okay, so we got So everybody was right. It was just adding it all. Yeah. Cool.
I'm not doing anything. So I'm spending a lot of time pressing because I have books from these shows that I'm pressing for myself and for customers, plus some for Adam. We haven't seen him in the chat, but I'm doing some books for him and a few other people. So I'm just a lot of pressing this weekend. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, you got hopefully extra days there to get some more done, right?
Yeah, I'm trying out a different method for pressing, so I'm always thinking of the ideas. But yeah, burning people's books and charging them.
Nice. Pancakes, make them all pancakes. All right, cool. I gotta send you some stuff. I got some. But cool. So I'm actually behind on my videos. Like remember I told you guys I had like a predetermined list of videos I wanted to do out to July.
Yep.
For a couple of weeks. Well, I ended up doing some other stuff just based on like current events. And you gotta, when you post a video, you gotta give it time to breathe and so because of that, I got pushed some other stuff back, and now I'm behind by 5 videos. So I'm gonna try to catch up this weekend. I got tomorrow off, I got Monday off, so I got a nice little 4-day break. I'm trying to catch up, see if I can. So that look for some stuff like that for me from this channel. And then of course, I'll take a couple of the topics we talked about, make them a separate video, upload that, and then this will be available, the full, what is it, an hour and a half estimated, to stream, audio only if you want to do iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, all those. It's everywhere. We're everywhere. We're all over the planet. We're all over the universe. So there's that. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you are listening later, I know we get a lot of people listening on demand once we're live. It's an interesting time because of, sports season and different things going on, people have to watch later, which is fine. And if you do, definitely drop us a comment. People have been continuing this conversation down there. Books you're looking for in August. Did you like the Star Wars news? Things like that. What do you think about the Spawn, issue or the movie delay? Would you like to see X-23 in New Mutants? So just chime in and let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll be back next week with even more news for you. So that's it. This is Comic Conversation. We got Chris, Edwin, Justin, myself, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.